Hello everyone.
What?
So, if you've been watching our vlogs that we've put up so far, you'll know that we've recently been to Walt Disney World. A very last minute trip, and if you've watched them you'll know all the reasons behind it and everything. Anyway, we thought we'd do a quick haul video. Didn't buy a lot of stuff, did we, this time? Really?
No, not really.
Because everything out there was so expensive. We found the prices in Disney had really gone up an awful lot, and obviously the exchange rate now is not brilliant. I mean, we actually looked at I think it was Crystal Palace, wasn't it? And it was $70 for an adult, plus tax, plus tip. And I know many years have gone by now, but when we first went out there, the first meal we had there was in 2003. And in 2003, when we went for a meal with my parents and our girls, it was $25 a head for adults and $12.50 for children. And we were getting $2 to the pound virtually then, weren't we, as well? And now it's like $70 for an adult, and we're getting, as we speak, we're getting about $1.24 to the pound. So a lot more expensive. Anyway, first thing I thought I'd show you is this Spirit jersey that I'm wearing. We didn't buy this time. This was actually, and as you can see what it's got on the back, can you see that? Don't know if you can see that.
Which one?
Oh, the back.
Oh,
all
okay.
of this.
Yeah.
Look. So this was actually a present from our daughter, who went out there at Christmas time, and she bought this back as a present for me. So I just thought I'd show you that. And Gary got an even...
I bought coffee from Starbucks.
I've got a present as well. He got this, which is the trams from the parking lots to the actual entrance.
Where are they going?
So,
No, I've not had a ride on it yet.
Yeah,
So.
it's brilliant, isn't it? They were still selling them out there this time. But yeah, that's brilliant. So, let's get on with what we bought. We bought actually some presents back for other people. Well, I say not presents, but actually bought some things. We'd got people who
bought things on behalf of them.
Yeah, that's the words. Bought things on behalf of people that have asked us to bring things back. So we thought I might as well show you them as well. But so, where do we start? Okay, so we went to the Disney outlet, the Disney outlet at the Disney character outlet thing. You know what I mean, the discount Disney store on the Premier outlets. And we were pretty disappointed, weren't we?
Yeah, there wasn't much there really.
No, a lot of people, but not much merchandise.
Yeah.
It was all pretty...
Yeah, there was a lot of people in there.
There was a lot. I mean, we had to queue to get in as always, but not quite as much as we did once before.
No.
But it was all a bit, you know, it was just a bit like a jumble sale, wasn't it? A bit like what's left over. And I know that's the whole point of it, but there wasn't really any bargains there anymore.
Unless it happened a bit before we got there.
I mean, like we went there once before, and I always regret not picking up like one of the bubble blowers and things like that they used to have there for about $4 or whatever. But everything they had
I don't
there,
regret you not buying that.
yeah, everything we saw there was not that cheap, to be honest. However, I did pick up one bargain from there, and it was the only bargain, and that was, it's really thick and heavy, but it's not a Spirit jersey. I don't know if you can see this, if I get it close up, if that will focus, but it's actually a cable knit jumper. And I thought
It's a Spirit cardie.
Yeah, it's a Spirit jumper. So it's
Just got the arm in the coffin.
nice bright red. I hope not.
No, close.
And it's really heavy. It is very long. I mean, I could almost wear it as a dress, which I won't before Gary makes any comments.
Yeah, we'll try that.
But this was actually originally $100, and in the outlet we got it for $29.99. You can see that, if that's going to focus. But yeah, so that was the only purchase in there, and it was the only thing that was worth having, to be honest. And I found that tucked away in the corner, and there was only, I think, 2 of them. So one of the purchases was on behalf of our daughter, who had seen these online on Instagram or whatever, literally a few weeks or a few days before we went, and it is a Spirit jersey. You can see that, and it is a Tomorrowland Spirit jersey. So there we go, which is pretty cool. And I must confess, I was tempted to get one for myself. So that was, oh, it hasn't got it on there, has it? But that was about $80, wasn't it? Most Spirit jerseys seem to be around the $80 mark, and then you have tax.
I thought that one was 150.
You're only saying that because you think she's watching and she'll pay more, but she won't. Yeah. And also, on behalf of another friend, we purchased this Spirit jersey.
Yeah, that was 150 as well.
No, it wasn't. And it's a small world. And that's the back. Again, pretty cool. Again, very tempted. Again, same sort of cost. I think most of the Spirit jerseys were around about the sort of 80 mark. Some of them were slightly dearer depending on where you went.
Quite expensive.
But yeah, I mean, Gary doesn't get it. He doesn't understand the whole Spirit jersey thing. But
to me, that's like a really expensive sweatshirt.
Excuse me, keep getting up and down, but that's the easiest and quickest way for us to do this.
With your legs.
So when we first arrived, we were told that our old Magic Bands would only last about 2 years because the batteries go on them, and because everything's done on your Magic Band now, they wouldn't last very long. So we purchased 2 new Magic Bands. Couldn't get them to connect properly, so when we went to one of the blue guest umbrellas to ask them if they could, mind that tea, you're about to knock my tea over, if they could set them up for us properly, because one of them linked but one didn't, wasn't it, I think?
Yeah, that's right.
And we were chatting away. He was really nice, the guy. Chatting away to him, and then I said to him when I showed him on the app, and he said, "Oh, I can see you've got 2 other Magic Bands because their old ones came up." And I said, "It's oh, you could have used those." And I said, "Well,
right.
They told us after 2 years they don't work anymore." And he went, "No, that's right." He said, "I met somebody the other day who had one from 2015 and it was still working." I said, "Oh, you're kidding me. If we'd have known this like an hour ago."
Yeah, we'd have. So
yeah, and we'd already
beautiful.
Got them out of the box, and we'd already started to set them up. We'd already set one up and the other one just kept unlinking itself for whatever reason. So Gary went for this, which is a nice plain boring grey, which he thought would be fairly timeless and would go with everything, because these ones are rechargeable, so you get like a little, almost like a Fitbit charger, that's a USB that plugs in. So, and your one was how much? 30?
It's the cheapest one.
Yeah, 35 was it? Or
yeah, possibly.
$35 dollars. And I just wanted one with a bit of a colour to it, a bit of, you know, something. So I went for this one, which has got the icons of the parks on it. And I think that one was 45, wasn't it? I think it was $10 difference.
That was like the middle one.
Yeah, this was the middle price one. Or then they had more character-based ones, and they were 54, were they, or something like that?
Yeah, the Star Wars one was really nice, but I thought it's not worth paying that for it.
Yeah, it was about $54.99, $55. So
and
yeah,
they're bigger as well, actually. Yeah, a bit annoying actually, because save a load of money.
Yeah, because
and the other
ones up here.
And the other ones are a lot smaller as well.
Yeah,
so
these are quite bulky, and you find that they're quite uncomfortable to wear. No, the other ones we took in the car, because we took the other ones with us.
They're hanging on those mugs.
Yeah, we took the old ones with us.
Yeah, that's even more annoying. We actually had the other ones with us.
And we left them in the apartment that day because we thought, oh well, we're not going to be able to use them after speaking to people, so we ended up not taking. But these are quite bulky, and I think where the body of it goes quite wide, that's going to go out of focus again, but quite wide, this bit's quite stiff right up until this bit, so you've got that whole section, so it kind of sits proud of your wrist. Don't know if you can see that at all with this going out of focus, but so it's quite difficult. And on one occasion, because when we went to the water parks, we said, "Oh, are these waterproof like the old ones because they're chargeable?" He said, "Yes, they are. However," he said, "we're finding that the new ones pop off really easily, and we've had so many cases of people dropping them in the water." And he said, depending on where you drop it, it can take at least 2 days, up to 2 weeks to get them back. And we were like, right, okay. So he said, my suggestion would be, don't wear them in the water.
No.
So, but I did actually lose mine one night, didn't I? I'd gone in, washed my hands, we'd gone and sat down, we went to go and have a photopass thing done, and I went, oh my God, and luckily I ran back to where we'd sat and it was on the floor just under the chair. But that would have been interesting. So yeah, they're not so secure either, which is, whereas the other one, they still pop like the old ones, but it just doesn't seem to be so
I think
definite.
That sort of pressure fit.
Yeah.
It's not a good idea, really, because
yeah.
I mean, if you
but on the old ones it was fine, they're the same thing.
I mean, if you use that a lot, like over a period of years, it's just going to wear thin, isn't it? Drop off. But,
so
yeah, I didn't find it very comfortable.
So yeah,
I don't wear a watch.
That's a negative for us.
I don't wear watches anyway, so
well, obviously I do.
I find it really uncomfortable, so that was really uncomfortable.
Yeah, excuse me having a sip of tea.
Oh,
shut up. So that was yeah, a bit of a negative for us, the magic bands. What else did we buy? So as I say, not an awful lot. Bought this as a present for somebody who will know that they've got it by the time this goes out. So, and this is our friend Ed and Chris, who love Pirates of the Caribbean, as do we. And we thought this was quite cute. It's a bottle opener. Now they don't really drink, but I'm sure they have Coke and stuff like that. So, but I thought that was quite cool. It's quite heavy actually. It's metal. And it's quite heavy.
Yeah, it's quite a lump.
But
yeah.
I know you can see that very well with the thing, but yeah. So yeah, bought that for them. Also for a friend who is, you know, they're a Disney family and they have a little boy, and we thought this was quite cute to bring back for him.
Yeah, it's pretty small actually.
So it's a little remote control
Really
safari
tempted to
jeep.
go with that, but I haven't.
No, I told him he's not allowed to take it out of the wrapper because it's a present. We bought a couple of pins while we were out there. This one, my daughter loves the film, sorry, our daughter loves the film Zootopia.
Allegedly.
So we saw a Zootopia pin, and she will know she's got this by the time we show you. So, and there we go. Zootopia, I thought that was quite cute. Not seen one of those before, and they certainly don't have them in Disneyland Paris, or we haven't seen them. This I am going to put on a pair of ears, which I'm going to make. We spent a lot of our holiday in Starbucks. Gary seems to be addicted to Starbucks now, since he's been drinking his coffees, you know. So
Well, Disney coffee's a bit rank actually.
he doesn't like. He's not a Joffrey's fan.
Well, no, I haven't said that. I had I had one from there, like the equivalent. You know,
You had a latte
a
from
latte
there,
with oat milk.
but you don't
and
like.
it wasn't. It was all right actually. It wasn't too bad.
But not many of the little stands and kiosks.
No.
They do Joffrey's coffee, but they don't do Joffrey's
Yeah, it's
latte with oat milk.
I don't like it really strong. And it's,
So we did find one place that did a Joffrey's latte with oat milk, but other than that, he didn't like Joffrey's. And we did go to. We took a trip to the Polynesian to have a wander around, and we'd been to the Ohana back in the day with the girls, and we just wanted to go and have a little wander around there, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we went there and we stopped for a coffee there, and they did an oat milk latte. But you didn't like it, did you?
No, it's horrible.
Yeah. So he moaned like that. Spent an absolute fortune, about $7 on this drink.
God.
And then-
I mean, it was
and then he threw it away.
It was weird. It was a combination of too strong coffee and sickly as well for some reason.
Yeah.
There was I don't know. It was like a real horrible.
Yeah, well anyway, so that was a waste. But
I poured it
because
away.
we spent virtually, we always get a pin to remind us of our holiday, and we normally get one with the year on it. But all the year ones this time, the whole theme was all this kind of like neon, like really in your face colours, and we weren't keen, were we?
No, not overly. No.
So
They're not like the classic design ones they used to do.
no, and we used to always get one with like the castle and the date, but they didn't have any of them. It was all this like in your face neon, so we thought no, we won't get one. But we needed something to remind us of the holiday, because we always get a pin. So as we spent most of our life queuing in a Starbucks,
Once a day.
or at least, we got this because Starbucks started doing... Oh, you're not going to be able to see that. That's not going to focus.
I'm going to stick my head in. Oh,
there we go. A Starbucks pin. So that's what we got. We got a Starbucks pin. And I love the boardwalk. And if ever I could choose to stay somewhere, I would choose to stay there, because I just always have done, even since the girls were little. We've always done a visit to the boardwalk at some point, because I just love it there. And we found, when we went for a visit to the boardwalk, we found that they had some pins there. So they did have a really cute, there you go, I didn't even see that. They did have a really, really cute loungefly, boardwalk loungefly as well, and spirit jersey. And I was very tempted, but then I didn't. Just got the pin instead. So they were the pins that we got. Right, so they're them. Right, the last Disney-based thing that we got was on the penultimate day, or penultimate park day. We went to Hollywood, and I saw somebody walking around with something, and I went, got to get one of those. So we tracked them down into Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and look at that. How amazing is that? And it is
Stormy.
A popcorn bucket. I just thought, got to have it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's quite realistic.
It was about $25, wasn't it? With the tiniest bag of popcorn. They don't actually, in the old days, you used to get a popcorn bucket.
Old days.
And they used to
In the
fill.
old days.
Yeah, they used to fill.
An old person.
Well, okay, in times gone by,
Yeah, well, back in the day.
back in the
A
day,
while ago.
not that short, a long time ago,
A few years back.
they used to, whatever, they used to fill the popcorn bucket with popcorn. Now, you get a little paper bag about that big with enough to feed a sparrow. So, that they just sit there and go, there you go, and you go, oh, is that it? Whereas if you filled that, you'd get an awful lot of popcorn in there. But yeah, so you get a tiny bag of popcorn, but isn't that cool? Very cool. It was too big to go in the suitcase, so I had to wear it home. Not on my head, just around my neck, on the suitcase or whatever. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. So then we spent a day at Kennedy Space Centre, which was really lovely. A real heat trap there, but we enjoyed it. Met an astronaut, got some autographs and things, but wanted to get a little gift there.
He said he was an astronaut.
He was. We wanted to get a little
space cowboy.
We wanted to get a little gift there for my dad. So as my dad's always on his computer, always watching YouTube and whatever, we got him a mouse mat.
Pillow.
Little mouse mat. Which actually is quite a good quality one. It's quite nice.
It's quite smart, yeah.
So we got him that. Got him some other bits and pieces as well, but that was the only thing that we'd show you. So other than that, we did go to Bath and Body Works. Obviously, we've got lots of Bath and Body Works over here now. So
yeah, for all the wrong reasons. Just wanted to wash our sweaty hands.
No, that's Basin.
Yeah, as well.
No, Bath and Body Works.
Yeah, I wash my hands in there as well.
Anyway, we went to Bath and Body Works not because they have anything amazing there that we can't get here, because they do have some bits there we can't get here, but because we've got a Bath and Body Works here now, it wasn't something we were going to bother with. However, I did just put my head in there just to see what they'd got, and I love the foaming hand wash. Now over here it is £10 per bottle. Except for sometimes they do a special offer where they're £15 for two or £20 for two or whatever, but they're £10 a bottle. And I went in there, and my two favourites are the Lemon Kitchen and the Mahogany Teakwood. And they've started selling these, which Gary said I have to be careful not to put in the kitchen, because somebody might mistake them.
Don't put those in the fridge.
Someone might mistake them for juice.
Yeah, they will, guaranteed.
So these are fillable.
Interesting after results. I hope you do drink.
Yeah. So this is Gentle and Clean Foaming Hand Soap Refill Lemon Kitchen, 12 fluid ounces or 946 mils. And I can't remember how many. I think they said it was 4.5 times you could fill. But what they were selling were glass pump bottles to fill, and they said it would fill one of them 4.5 times, didn't they?
Yeah.
But they were slightly bigger than a normal pump bottle, but I've got those 2 flavours here, so I'm just going to refill those instead. But they worked out about...
Is it more of a scent?
Yeah, it's a scent, not a flavour.
Call it flavour, you really are going to start.
Yeah, I'm going to drink it, yeah.
One's a lemon, one's bluebury.
They worked out, and I can't remember exactly, but it was something ridiculous, like about £15. But they were doing a special, weren't they? You could buy 2, buy 1 get 1 half price. I think it ended up costing me not much more for those 2 than it would have cost me for 1.5 just normal sized bottles here.
Yeah.
And I've got 10 of virtually 10 of their bigger size bottles, so I reckon I can probably get about 12 of the normal size hand pumps out of that. So I might pause you for a second, go and check how much is in a normal size one and let you know. Or Gary can talk to you.
Yeah, I haven't got anything to say at the moment. I'll just hang around.
Right, so I'm back. 8.75 fluid ounces in one of the normal standard ones. And this has got, where are we? 948 millilitres or 32 fluid ounces. So 8 fluid ounces. So, but, oh actually, yeah, look, the price is on this. Alright, so they were $13.95 dollars per bottle, but they were doing a special offer. Was it buy 1 get 1 half price? I think it was, or buy 1 or 2 for 20. I think it was 2 for 20, wasn't it? 2 for $20. But yeah, so I'm really pleased with that. Can't ever go to Florida without bringing.
And the big bonus with those, as well as the price, was the fact they didn't explode on the plane.
Yeah.
Which I was a bit worried about. I thought they're going to be over the case.
Yeah, we thought we were going to open the case and it would be full of foam.
Get a taste of that.
Taste? Oh, it's not a flavour, darling. It's a scent.
Smell. Yeah. Don't keep those well away from the kitchen.
Yeah, because Gary will drink them, and I will video that. So you can never go to Florida without coming back with a bit of Dawn. There we go. Got to have a bit of Dawn. There was a Dawn power washer we were going to get, but we didn't. But I've brought that back as a joke from my dad. So, what else? I think
you'll be doing is washing up even when you aren't there.
Yeah. So I think that is it for us, except for one special purchase that I made. Well, actually, I made 2, didn't I, in the end? So, right. So I went to a place called Boot Barn, and the reason I went to Boot Barn was because I wanted to get some cowboy boots. Cowgirl boots. And the reason I wanted to get them was because I have a significant birthday coming up this year. In December, I will be 60. Yes, I know, I don't look it. I look 90, I know. So I really love country music, always have done all my life. And our youngest daughter is also a country fan. And she introduced me, a couple of years back, to this new guy on the scene called Zach Bryan. And I immediately fell in love with the music as much as she did. Now, we've seen a couple of country stars over here, but it's always been my dream. I've never had a bucket list as such, but I've always had things
Had a few buckets.
I really want to do. I don't like calling it a bucket list, but there's always been things that I've really wanted to do. And all my life I've wanted to go to New York. Just wanted to go and see the Statue of Liberty and go to New York, and it's just something that's never happened. And every time we've planned to, we were planning that, you know, the year of the pandemic, we were planning to do a trip then, and it didn't happen. So every time we've planned to do it, it's never happened, and all my life I've wanted to do it. So my daughter rang up a couple of months back, because the tickets for Zach Bryan just go like that, and she said he's put an extra couple of dates on. And she said he's doing Houston, but we went, yeah, that's too far to go. I'm you know, can't go there for. Then she said he's doing Florida. This is before we knew we were coming away, and I said, yeah, I can't go to Florida without Daddy. You know, because she'd phoned me up and said, do you want to go to America, see Zach Bryan? And then she said, he's doing New York in December. And I went, oh my God, that's it. That can be my birthday present. I can go to see an American country star in America, which is something I've always wanted to go and do. And I get to go to New York. So that's 2 things I've always wanted to do that you know, I can tick off. Brilliant. So we booked it. And then her other half wanted to come. And then I said to Gary, well, if he's coming too, you can come. So, because obviously it's only myself and our daughter that are going to the concert. Gary wasn't particularly interested in going, and nor was her partner. So we basically said they can hang out together so that me and Abigail can go off and we can go to the concert. So I went to Boot Barn and bought myself some boots. Look at these. Aren't they lovely? And look, even the pattern on the bottom is lovely. Now, I did pick up some other ones which had the stars and stripes on them, but after sending a couple of WhatsApp group chats to our daughters, we decided against them. But these are my cowgirl boots.
Yeah, they've got pretty smart.
And I love them.
But they were very loud.
But these were so I think the thing with these is I put them on, and of every single pair I tried on, and we tried on hundreds, didn't we, between us, of different things.
Never seen so many boots.
It was such a brilliant, a Boot Barn was such a, she, again, Abigail introduced us to that. Such a brilliant place, wasn't it? Gary bought some t-shirts. We haven't bothered showing you all that, but Gary bought some t-shirts in there, and I bought these. Oh my God, I just love them. They were so comfy from the minute I put them on, so they had to come home with me. And then I went a bit mad. We went back there a second time, and I bought myself a fringed jacket as well, which I'm sure you'll see at some point, but I can't be bothered to go and get now to show you. But yeah, so I'm going to really look the part. So, I mean, I did message the girls again and said to them, what do you think of this? Too much? And our eldest daughter, Holly, said, yeah, it's great. And I'm sure that at a country concert, it will look amazing. However, I'm not sure it's the sort of thing you can wear to Sainsbury's on a Saturday. But, you know, it's got to be done. So that's what we did. So at the end of the year, we will bring that to you. We'll bring you some vlogs on that. And we are going, in the end, we've extended it a bit, and we're going for almost a week to New York. It's probably going to be really cold, and we were chatting to a guy who'd been there recently, like last year. I think it went last winter, last November, and he said it was snowing, it was freezing cold, and he said he doesn't normally feel the cold. However, it's the coldest he's ever been in his life. He said, I don't wear gloves and hats and scarves, I'm not that kind of guy. He said, but I had every layer I could possibly have on, and I had hats and scarves and gloves. He said, I even went out and bought some thicker ones while I was there. So Gary's going to love it.
Sounds like it's going to be the complete opposite to what we've just been subjected to.
Yeah. So when we've been out there now, it's just been so hot, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And a local that we were talking to was saying that the temperatures there now are like August weather. We've been there in August before, and we knew how hot that was. But it just that the humidity, some days the humidity was high, but not every day.
Yeah, quite a few days it was quite low, so it's just like a really dry day. But it was, I mean, it's
so intense.
It was in the mid to high 90s every day.
Yeah.
Quite early as well.
We'd get in the car, and the car would be showing like 96, 98 at like 10 o'clock in the morning, wasn't it? And you could feel it burning on your legs as you were walking, couldn't you? But
yeah, it was really hot.
I mean, we loved it.
Slightly
obviously
more bearable though. I mean, it was tiring because it was really hot.
Yeah.
But slightly more workable than when it's really humid, because you can't do anything when it's
because
like
you could get in the shade and be out of the heat a little bit, whereas humidity you can't get out of that even in the shade.
Well, no, it's the same everywhere.
So but I mean, this was a trip for us with a difference, in as much as it was tinged with a lot of sadness. And we did have, you know, I mean, I had tears a few days running, didn't I?
Yeah, it's quite sad. Yeah.
We were both very sad. And, you know, knowing that we weren't coming home to our little boy bouncing around and happy to see us was quite hard. And both of us kept sort of reliving what's happened recently. And yeah, it was a good distraction in lots of ways. but he was never far from our thoughts, our little Pablo. So it was different for us, and because it was so last minute, I mean literally it was booked about a week before we went, if that. And normally you'd book these things months in advance. You would literally plan like mad for, I'd normally have a list of all the days, and I'd have like what we were doing each day to make sure we got in there. I'd have a couple of free days in there that we could swap things around, but I'd literally have a plan to make sure we didn't miss anything. I'd research, I'd get addresses of places, of shops and things if we wanted to go. Yeah, jet lag's catching up with us because we only got back yesterday, and we thought we'd film this quickly now.
Was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday. Yeah. Well, our bodies are kind of like...
Going out was absolutely no problem at all.
Yeah.
And being that we was out there, flight was about, I don't know, 3-4 hours earlier than what they used to be.
Yeah, we went at 9:30 in the morning.
When they used to fly from Gatwick.
English time.
It was just like an extended day. I didn't feel tired at all. We just carried on, went to bed at the normal time.
And we didn't... Usually the first day you're up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. But we weren't, were we?
No, it was just really nice.
Because we carried on.
Coming back, I mean...
Yeah.
Regardless of what you do on the plane, you just lose a whole night's sleep.
We couldn't sleep anyway because we were sitting at the front by the galley, so it was and in front of the toilet, so we had constant like flow of people, and sadly, not the parent or the baby's fault, but sadly we had a baby on our flight, quite young. I mean, didn't look far off newborn to be honest, and it screamed the whole flight, and I mean the whole flight. There was not a 5-minute gap, was there?
Stopped every now and then for a few minutes.
Literally for about a 5-minute gap,
quite
if that.
Consistent, but then like I say, it's probably a horrible experience for a baby because they don't know what's going on. And the plane was like bouncing around quite a lot.
We had horrendous turbulence going out, really horrendous, to the point where Gary is a nervous flyer, and he won't watch a film, he won't do anything like that. And he's just very nervous, and he doesn't drink anyway. But he wouldn't even have a drink. He won't take anything to calm him down because he wants to be, fully alert. And so he does get very anxious. But what he will do is sit and watch the map and the altimeter and all that kind of thing. And we had a little bit of the bumpy turbulence like you always get. And he started watching the altimeter, didn't you?
Yeah.
And he went, "This is getting really quite bumpy. We're going up and down quite a bit. Like a lot of." We usually keep our seatbelts on loosely anyway, all through we always have done, haven't we? We've always kept our belts on through the flight. It's just something we've routinely done. And he said, "Yeah, I think we need our belts." So we tightened them a bit. And this was before everything had hit the news about this other recent disaster.
I could see it. I mean, I could see we was losing altitude and coming up again and losing it before we even really started to feel it very much. But I thought this is going to start to get a bit interesting by the looks of it.
So we tightened our belts, and literally within seconds the seatbelt sign came on. But as the seatbelt sign came on, the pilot like literally gave this, "Everyone get your seatbelts on now, please return to your seats, get yourself strapped in tightly." And it was just so urgent. Although it was very official, and there was a tone, wasn't there, to his voice of urgency.
Yeah.
And the staff, all the cabin crew, was just suddenly literally flying up and down the plane, running around. And I had, because we had nothing in front of us, you can't put like your handbag under the seat in front. And when the captain was saying, everyone returns to seats, make sure there's no blue items, put your chair, things like, but make sure your seatbelts are on first. That was his kind of urgency, that get your belts on and then sort everything else out. As the flight manager went past me, I went, "Excuse me," because I was going to say I had my handbag, my lounge fly was on the floor next to me and we'd nowhere to put it. And I was going to say, "Excuse me, should I put that up the top?" And he just went, "Can't stop," didn't he? Really quite abruptly, and ran off down the end. And obviously things suddenly, and all of a sudden we just suddenly went whoop, and we really dropped, didn't we? And it was almost like being on Tower of Terror, I imagine. I've not been on it, but if you go over a big hill and you drop suddenly, you get that whoop on your stomach.
It was quite similar to that. And not quite smooth actually, because the tower's quite smooth.
Yeah, and it was suddenly like, and everything was banging around, wasn't it? And there was stuff dropping off everywhere, and it was like, oh my God. And the galley, there was things falling over, and we were like, oh Christ, this doesn't seem good. But after it had all smoothed out, we were told to keep our seatbelts on for the entire flight after that. You know, like, to keep your belts on loosely fastened, which we do anyway. But bless him, the staff, I have to say, the staff on that plane were absolutely bloody amazing from start to finish, before even the turbulence. They were all fantastic, weren't they?
Yeah.
But the flight manager came up to me at the end and said, I am so sorry I was so abrupt with you, but I needed to make sure my staff were okay. And I said to him, honestly, no problem whatsoever. I said, I didn't even want to stop you, but I was only going to ask because of the bag. I wasn't sure, you know, I wanted to make sure I was doing the right thing. And he said, I just needed to get down to my stuff. And I said, honestly, no problem. He said, I really am sorry. I said, no, please don't apologise. You did a fantastic job. And at the end of the day, like I said to Gary, you know, at the end of the day, they're cabin crew, they're staff, but they're still human. And when something like that happens, regardless of whether you're on the plane all the time, whatever, it's scary. And you said we dropped about 2,000 feet, didn't you?
Yeah, it dropped a lot, but then they deliberately dropped it down.
Yeah.
They dropped it down to another well, I think it went down 4,000 feet in the end.
Yeah.
Because they're obviously trying to get underneath.
Yeah.
What they were going through.
Because it got so bad,
yeah,
and so.
But even when they took it down another couple of thousand feet, they did it pretty rapidly.
Yeah. Yeah,
was,
but there was stuff just going everywhere, so it was just.
Yeah, it was.
And then when it had all settled,
and creaking and crashing. And
yeah, but when it had all settled, some of the cabin crew that had been at the very, very back of economy all came down to the galley, and they were all chatting. And they said that they held on to the backs of people's seats and their feet left the ground and they were hanging on, and they were quite, you know, they were quite scared, weren't they? And you sort of, you know, I said to Gary, they're human beings at the end of the day, and it must be really petrifying for them. And, you know, that they, before they could get strapped in, they were just making sure everybody was okay. Credit to them all. They were fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So yeah, and then we arrived in Florida, and about 2 days after we arrived, there was the terrible disaster on the airline where a gentleman lost his life, and there was a lot of people injured. So I kept that from Gary for quite a few days before he found out about it, because I thought there's no way he's going to get on a plane and go back if that's. But coming back, we had quite a lot of turbulence as well, didn't we? Yeah. So between the turbulence, I suffer with ear pressure on planes, even when I've got the specific earplug things that they're supposed to help, they don't. And I was suffering, and every time we hit the turbulence, my ears were going, and this baby was screaming louder every time. And I said to Gary, that poor baby must be really suffering, you know. And I felt really sorry. But then there was a lady who was constantly coming up, even though the seatbelt sign was on, kept constantly coming up to the galley and saying, I can't sit, you know, in the row next to that baby any longer. It's, you know, put me somewhere else. And they were saying, it's a full flight, we've got nowhere to put you. So she was up there making a fuss a lot of the journey as well. So we didn't really get any sleep, but we're a bit jet lagged at the moment. But generally,
it's a busy junction.
Yeah. I mean, you get, you know, you've got no seat in front of you, so you have a bit more leg room. But
there was a lot of space there, but it was just there was always a lot of people there.
Yeah, there's pros and cons, but I mean, it was nice to be able to
busy. I mean,
spread
it's right next to the galley, so
yeah,
didn't have to go far to get whatever you wanted if you needed anything at all.
But we didn't really, did we? We just sat there and
yeah.
But I mean, Florida itself, as I say, it was hot. It was everywhere was very busy. We found that Disney are still trying to cut every corner they can, I think. Everything was a lot more expensive. We did a lot more sort of like shopping and walk. I mean, even Walmart we found was mega busy, but also the prices of everything. I mean, we were looking at the food and we were comparing, you know, basic things like meats and like, you know, minced beef and chicken and things like that. And to be honest, we've been complaining over here about the cost of living rise, but it was like double, sometimes triple what we're paying over here for things over there.
Yeah, their prices are just,
they've gone crazy.
Just mad.
You know, and things that
I mean, even with the rubbish exchange rate, you've still got lots of bargains. You used to come back with loads and loads of clothes. I bought 3 t-shirts.
Yeah,
because everything out there was just so expensive, just crazy stuff. The only thing that didn't seem to be really expensive for us was the fuel,
which is expensive for them
still a lot for them. But I mean, it's like, you know, $3.50 a gallon for standard unleaded. and also we're probably paying about between 6 and 7 a gallon for that, even though a gallon's a little bit bigger. But that's about the only thing that seemed to have stayed cheaper for us.
Yeah.
But everything else was like, most of the food items, just basic food items and cereal and stuff like that, was like double or treble the price you'd pay here for it.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's a really expensive place to go now.
Yeah, that's what we found. So I mean, we found a few bits, like a few salady bits and things like that. So we were tending to make ourselves salads and things back at the apartment for lunch whenever we could. And I mean, the character dining is just, you know, where it used to be reasonably affordable. And we used to do perhaps 1 or 2. We did 1 this time. We did Tusker House, and that was just Gary wasn't feeling that great. We were at Animal Kingdom. It was really hot and humid. You weren't feeling that great, were you? And you just said, I need to get somewhere cool and sit down and have something decent to eat. And also, because of Gary's diet now, he doesn't want to eat anything in saturated fats and things like that.
Which most of their things are.
And you know, we were finding it really hard, other than a bit of a limp salad on the menu.
So much of their stuff is all heavily deep fried and battered and covered in cheese.
Yeah, and we found like we went to Applebee's one day, and you got, which was a really good deal for the meal. It was like 2 meals for $25, wasn't it? We thought, blimey, this is like a good price for that, really cheap. And you got 1 entree each, and you got an appetizer. So you got 1 full meal each, and then a starter. And everything was like deep fried crispy onion rings, or deep fried this, or deep fried that. And the only other thing they had was it was artichoke and spinach dip with tortilla chips. So we thought, okay, that's probably going to be creamy from the artichoke. Survivable. So we thought, yeah, we get that. When it came, it was so cheesy that you like the stringiness of the cheese was like you couldn't even get the dip out. And instead of just having the tortilla chips, they deep fry them. And they were literally dripping in grease, weren't they?
They were shiny.
Yeah, they were absolutely dripping in grease. So that was a no-go. I ate a few of them just to try and show willing, but there were so many. And Gary couldn't really eat any. And she said, would you like them in a box to go? And I was like, no, thank you.
Get rid of them.
But so it was difficult.
Sorry, if you like that sort of thing and you can eat that sort of thing, then it probably would have been a major issue because the dip and stuff, it smelled alright, smelled quite nice, but there's no way I could eat stuff like that. I probably would have been dead the next day. And
we just found that it was just everywhere was so pricey. So pricey. I mean, we have spent a small fortune just on eating.
Yeah, just basic stuff.
And just like that. And as I say, we've not had any cooked breakfasts out because Gary doesn't do that anymore anyway. But we couldn't even afford to. But we didn't have any breakfast out like normally we'd go out and have a breakfast every day. We were doing ourselves like porridge and toast and cereal back at the apartment. We were getting little salad bits from Walmart to do salads at home for lunch and things, because we were quite often having a swim and then going back and then going to the park in the afternoon. We were just trying to cut corners with the food where we could, because it was so expensive. And normally I bring back loads and loads of different goodies and brought back hardly anything this time. So
it's frustrating, really. I mean, partly because they're prices and partly for what I can and can't eat anymore.
Yeah.
But we used to go out there and have like massive, I mean, it's like whatever it was, 2 or 3 weeks maybe, like massive blowouts, and you think, just do what you want, eat what you want. It's only like a couple of weeks. But even if I had been in a position to eat what I wanted and do whatever meals you want, it would have just been so expensive.
I mean, I was quite often having a children's meal from the quick service because I found that was big enough for me. But I mean, even they weren't that cheap, really.
No.
But yeah, I was having like a children's meal.
I think it's the thing that sticks in my head. We come out of Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy's Hedge.
We come out the hedge.
We come out of Galaxy's Hedge, and that was like, and that was quite late in the day, wasn't it? We was pretty knackered actually, and we sat on that bench. I thought we just need to nibble on something. There was a thing right opposite us that did like pretzels and stuff like that. I thought, yeah, one of those pretzels will do. We got water with us, and they wanted like $7.50. $7.49 for a pretzel, which
plus tax.
So it's going to be a good £6, maybe more.
But
I'm thinking,
and they were
really?
Mickey pretzels, and I've got a photograph of me in 2019 holding one, and no word of a lie, it was probably as big as my hand or my face.
Yeah.
And these ones were sort of like about half the size, weren't they?
Yeah.
They seemed to be much smaller. And I said to
How can
Gary,
you justify? How can you justify like?
get one in Lidl for 49p.
Well, yeah, how can you justify like £6.50 for a pretzel? I mean, that's just like robbery, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. And they were no bigger than the kind of ones you get in Lidl, like a normal sort of pretzel size, but they were Mickey shaped. And they definitely, I've looked at the photo back from 2019, and they are definitely at least a third smaller now. So
if you're going out there, just take a suitcase full of pretzels and Lidl, and then just open up a stall really quickly before they go stale, and sell them for like £5 each.
Anyway, that said, we'd probably go back again.
Wouldn't buy a pretzel though. Take one with me.
I think you know, it is another world out there, and it is a good distraction. And for us, it didn't take our mind off Pablo, because he was always on our mind and he was always with us.
Well, he kept bumping into puppies everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And a couple that looked pretty much like him as well, which didn't really help.
And I had my necklace, which has got his actual paw print on it, engraved into it. And our friend Ed bought us, she had made for us a little pendant with his picture and some angel's wings, which I carried around with me every day, and I still carry with me. So yeah, I think we've bored you for long enough now. So obviously our vlogs are back there if you want to watch them. And if you've already watched them, then thank you. They're probably not as jolly and cheerful as they normally are. Gary wasn't sort of, he was struggling with the heat a bit, and obviously things have changed for us health-wise a lot.
Yeah.
You know, since we went in 2019, there's been a lot of changes in our lives, in our health, for both of us.
Yeah,
and plus it was a very sad sort of...
Yeah, it was very, I don't know, I almost felt, it's not that I couldn't, I almost felt guilty for being there, kind of guilty for enjoying myself, thinking like, you know, if it hadn't been for that, we wouldn't be here, sort of thing. And I almost felt like I didn't want to be there because of that reason. So it was a bit of a difficult one, but that
said, we did enjoy ourselves, didn't we?
Yeah, very good time.
And once again, I have to say thank you to my dad, who made it possible for us to actually go and have this break and do this. Yeah, Sheraton Vistana, wonderful place to stay. Would definitely recommend it. Again, there's going to be, it'll either already be up or it'll come up after this, not sure, a quick room tour.
Yeah, it is really nice.
But yeah, that's really nice there. Always clean. Staff can't do enough for you.
Lots
really
of lizards. Beautiful
complex. So yeah. So we will catch you whenever we next do something, and if not, we will see you in December for our trip to New York. But I'm sure we'll do something between now and then.
Probably won't see us though, because we'll be completely covered up with clothing.
Yeah, you'll just see our eyes where we've got the scarves. And anyway, thank you for watching, and we will hopefully see you all soon. Take care, everyone. Be kind to each other. Be nice, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.